How to get rich during a recession. We had a recession in 2009 and 2010, and I was broke during that recession, and now I'm rich. Because recessions create an awesome opportunity for people. It's an amazing opportunity upon us. It's a great way to start making some money, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. Let's go. So when we have an economy that is contracting, okay, for a certain amount of quarters, sometimes you look at it, it'll say for 2 quarters. Most economists will say if you have an economy that is contracting 2 quarters in a row, then we are in a recession, meaning our gross GDP is not growing, meaning unemployment rates are rising, meaning people are losing their jobs, filing unemployment, losing their homes, getting evicted. That is what happens during a recession, okay? And most of us have been, unfortunately, on the bad part of a recession. If you are a person that works and you lose your job when a recession hits, it can be devastating for you. But I took that devastation, and while I was in my parents' basement, I literally started to learn how to invest in real estate the right way. I learned some concepts on how to find people with property problems, how to start wholesaling, how to get fees of like $5,000, helping these people that were losing their home the same way I did. And again, I turned my recession disaster into recession riches. And you could do the same thing just by looking at what the opportunities are. So let me tell you what that is. So the thing that I found out after I lost everything and it was all pitiful living in my parents' basement, I got someone who was more successful in real estate, okay? And he told me, you really need to watch the relevant news, okay? So this is step 1. You don't want to get all engulfed in the recession and start watching all the news and everyone just telling you everything is terrible, and then you fall into that same mindset. And that was a big mistake. Do not do that. When I say watch the news, I mean watch for relevant news. Once I got with my coach and he was telling me about wholesaling and how to find people with property problems, and we were targeting foreclosures at the time, he told me, and we made a ton of money doing this, watch and see what programs they're gonna put in place to help people that are in foreclosure. And at the time in 2009, 2010, you may remember they started creating all of these programs like modifications where people that were in foreclosure or that were behind on their payment, they could apply with the mortgage company and have their mortgage modified. When I was watching the news, I started to see that there were a ton of people applying and a ton of people getting rejected. So all of the people that had been rejected for the mortgage modification, their home was going to go into foreclosure, and they had tried everything in their mind. So we were able to buy lists of those people that had rejected modifications, call those people up, and we were able to pay the little money that they were behind or whatever, or help them with their modification and end up with the property. Now here's the deal. I had to be watching the news and see what they were doing. What programs were they doing? What was happening in the news? And in the recessions that are coming, every politician, every political group starts putting money somewhere. Watch and see what they do and find the opportunities. So the opportunities and that I have been watching and that we have now, we're not in 2009, we're not in 2010 anymore. Now we see that we have all of these people from the coronavirus that, did a lot of forbearances on their mortgages. And we're watching and seeing that a lot of these people are going to be in big trouble now that the forbearance times are ending and that their mortgages need to be caught up. Now they don't have a job. Unemployment rates are going up like crazy. So the opportunity there has been for us to start talking to those people directly, start talking to sellers, private people that own a home that lost their job or were not able to catch up those payments that they put into forbearance. We put out marketing to those people. We started sending letters. We started putting ads out. And now we have people calling us that have this issue, and we're there to help. And we're picking up properties literally for pennies on the dollar. We were getting properties for just a few $1,000s. And this is how so many people made so much money during the recession, just buying up and grabbing up all of those properties. And this is the exact thing that I did to get over 40 properties for myself and friends that I know have done the exact same thing to have their wealth be over $1 million. Just with a few properties, okay? You don't need 40 properties to make a lot of money. I have people that are making 6 figures and they have only about, 7 to 10 properties. So this is something you could do really quickly and get started just by becoming a solution to people's problems. One of the ways that I was able to connect to people and get them to give me those properties is the fact that I had been through foreclosure, okay? I literally knew the process. I knew how devastating it was to my credit. I knew how devastating it was to my family. I knew what foreclosure meant. And I was able to share my story with them. Like I said, this is how I turned my recession disaster into recession riches. I was able to connect and explain to them, hey guys, you do not want your property to go in foreclosure. You're gonna lose all of the down payment that you put in there, all of the payments that you've been making. The bank is just gonna take that whole property back and you're gonna lose everything. It would be so much smarter, right? If we fixed your credit just by me taking over the payments. Let me catch that mortgage up for you, okay? And let me take over those payments and then you move on. And that way you don't go through the foreclosure. You don't have that on your credit report for 10 years. You don't have, to move out of the home. You don't have the sheriff come and throw all of your stuff onto the front lawn, okay? It is very embarrassing. And I was able to use my story and tell them what happened in my foreclosures, multiple foreclosures, and help those same people avoid the mistake and make tons of money in the process. So again, turn that into a solution. Be a solution to people's problems, and you will make a ton of money in the process. Hopefully you found this video and all of the information that I gave and letting you know how much money you could make in a recession, and you use that to make a lot of money. Make sure you like this video. Please subscribe to my channel so that I can keep bringing you content like this every single weekday. I am putting out content to make sure that you are successful in your business, that you have the knowledge, the tools, the resources, and everything that you need to join me in my success. This is Noelle, to your success.